2 years ago, I was contacted by someone named Tabitha, who claimed to be my biological sister. I asked my dad about Tabitha, and I was told by my dad that it would be okay to communicate with her. A few weeks later, I had a sleepover at Tabitha's house. While I was there, my brother was offered a marijuana edible. My brother was only 15 at the time. About an hour later, Tabitha told us horrible things about my dad, such as he never wanted children, that the only child he truly ever wanted was me. My brother and I came home. We told my dad about the horrible things that Tabitha had said. This has understandably made my dad very sad and angry. My dad reached out to Tabitha in order to engage in the wholesome discussion about the issues, and he was ignored and eventually blocked. There's a dangerous game being played here, and I've decided not to be a part of it. It is a hate game that, according to my dad, has been going on since Tabitha was born. It is a game that can result in suicide if carried on too long enough with some people. Tabitha, I am not going to play along with your family's ongoing hate game with my dad. My dad is a nice man, and he's never done anything to hurt me. He loves all of us. When you first contacted me, I couldn't figure out why my dad kept giving me history lessons about a 25-year-old relationship. My dad couldn't explain it. Then last February, my dad sent us to live with our mother. He then started playing a light version of Chantel's hate game with us. In fact, he still is playing that game with Alex. After a few weeks, I had a meltdown, and my dad showed me what your mother has been doing to him for the past 25 years. According to my dad, this is the fourth version of this hate game. In a movie, this would be fourth act. I can't imagine how it would feel having this game played against him for over 25 years. No wonder my dad is overweight. It is slowly killing my dad. I finally understand what my dad is trying to explain to me. When I decoded what your mother is doing, it made me feel sick to my stomach. It's not what she is doing, but it's something else. I can't explain it. But now that I know what the game is, I feel bad for not listening to my dad. Your mother is genius, but the wrong it's the wrong type of genius, but it's hard to explain because I am kind of smart and I can't explain it. It's weird. This is very stupid, and I now understand why your mother would not answer or talk to you after she learned that you were communicating with me and Alex. Tabitha, I'm going to ask you to never contact me again. Not because I'm turning the tables and playing Chantel's little hate game with you, telling you something like I'm going to treat Tabitha the way you treat Brian, but that thought crossed my mind. No, it's because the game is hurting my dad deeply, and it is time for this to stop. If you're hurting my dad, you're also hurting me. For the last decade or so, my dad has survived tricking himself, believing that you were always James's child. All along, all along hiding your photos. My dad has to go into a controlled environment to look at your photos. But when you contacted us, the survival trick did not work anymore. My dad is not the same, and I want my dad back. I'm also ending our relationship because apparently you think these things are okay to do to someone. Either you are completely oblivious of what your mother did, or you're completely well aware and you think it's an acceptable way to treat a person. And now I have to personally observe yourself, treat my dad in this manner. That person that you are being rude to is my dad. I love him and I'm standing up for him. Alex, it is really time for you to do the same. This is where I draw the line, Tabitha. Biologically, we are half-sisters, but you and I do not share the same dad. Again, this is very hard to explain, but I suspect when you do, you will understand why I ended our relationship. Not to mention the edible you gave my brother. This is Jesus juice type of weird shit, like Michael Jackson weird. Why would you give that to him and then fill a 15-year-old's head full of lies? You know your mother better than any of us. You should have known better to double-cross-reference your sources. Please do not contact me or a member of my family ever again. If you do, I will file a restraining order against you. Please do not contact me again. It is time for someone to end this hurtful game.
had a dream of a man and woman walking together so much in love. As I tried to see their faces I could see, but one as he kissed her lips it was your face I saw, but as I looked closer it was my lips you were kissing. As I woke to have you kiss my lips, and then I know it wasn't a dream. I love you with all my heart. I know we have only knew each other for a couple of weeks, it seems like I've known you all my life. In my dreams there was always someone in my dreams, but he had no face. But now I can see the face clearly. It was your face that meant to be there all along, and every time I look in your eyes, my heart skips a beat. I love you, Brian, with all my heart and more. I want to be the only woman you think of. I want to spend my life with. I want to share the rest of my life with you, and I can't see myself happy with anyone else. That's why I'm scared you may find someone better. I don't want to lose you because I already feel so strong for you, and you don't have to worry about me looking for anyone. I have already found me Mr. Perfect. All you have to do is look in the mirror and see who that is. I really do love you, and I want to spend my life with you. I want to wake up next to you and fall asleep with you and make love to you all through the night, and I want to make you a family. Love always and forever, Chantel.
Hey, Larry, you Chantel the fuck on. I'm gonna kick your fucking ass, bro. Saturday, 3:12 p.m.
When Tabitha was born in 1996, Chantel, Tabitha's mother, refused to put Brian's name on his daughter's birth certificate. Chantel also refused to give Tabitha Brian's last name, not even a hyphenated version. This generated what Brian felt was unnecessary discord over a simple human rights issue. Paternity would not be established for Tabitha until the year 2000.
And then in Multnomah County, I find a proceeding involving Tabitha that commenced in the year 2000 with an order for blood tests. Is that you?
Yes, that's me.
The times I've talked to Brian was the times I got him to see his daughter. I got him and his father to see Tabitha one time. When Tabitha was less than a year old, I was the one that got him to see his daughter. I got him to go to the hospital to see his daughter.
What do you mean? What do you mean you got him? What's that mean?
My daughter and Brian at the time were fighting. I mean, you know, words and stuff. And I told my daughter he had the right to see his daughter.
Okay. And did he see his daughter?
Yes, sir, he did.
Okay. And that was when the child was very small.
Yes, sir.
I took the money out of him when my daughter was like 4 days old for diapers. He doesn't have a cow because I had to have, and my daughter only was for Sperm. Because they were $14.95 for a package of Sperm. They had a cow. He wanted to buy the $3.99 diapers. Was it expensive? I don't care. Brian's got money. He can afford, you know? He's a jackass. I needed to, we went to the shopping. And he said, well, what does Sperm need? I said, well, she needs another full body jacket. He had a pack because the one I wanted was $15. And the one he wanted to get was cheap. It was like $5.99, but I mean, there was nothing, there was fit. My daughter's born in the middle of winter, you know, and I'm not going to be crazy and put a little asshole jacket on her. She got her summer dresses in the middle of winter. She's just prepared for the summertime. Oh yeah, I dressed her 6 months.
Did you, when did you first attempt, Mr. to initiate a relationship with Tabitha?
Other than when she was born, or?
From when she was born on forward, when did you first try to initiate having a relationship with Tabitha?
I filed a self-alleged father case in Multnomah County.
Do you remember approximately when that was?
Yes, it was after Father's Day in 1996.
Is this relevant, Your Honor? Check.
I don't know yet. I'll give you some leeway. Overruled it this time, but you could re-raise it.
Call 1-877-1-871-871-871-871.
Boy meets girl. It happens every day. It could happen to you. Just call our local number and listen to single men and women from the Portland area as they describe themselves and the people they'd like to meet. We're the Portland People Store. We don't use 900 numbers and we never charge for the call. Our voice system is totally automated, so you never have to talk to our staff. Call anytime and discover a very private way to meet nice people in the Portland area. The Portland People Store. It could happen to you.
I'm about 5'9", 5'10", I have long dark brown hair. I'm looking for somebody who likes to go out and have a good time. Someone who isn't scared of getting into a commitment maybe later in the future. Someone who is mature. Someone who knows how to go out and have a good time without acting stupid. Well, if you think you're a fun-loving guy and you'd like to go out and have some fun, and you think you could handle me, why don't you give me a call? For personal information about this person.
What are you going to do when you take that four together and then think about getting back with her? Who's your father, baby?
Steve O'Hagan from Goldberg Jones. I'm just calling to follow up on the request I made to get the transcript or the recording from that stalking case where the petitioner was Chantel Marie. It was case number 98-1007395. And I forwarded you an email that they can't find the recording in the archives that they have, and that may be because of the building. They just switched buildings. But in any event, I just wanted to kind of real quick give you some insights into what I see in the court record that's online. And so on October 15th, 1998, a complaint was filed, and on which that's when you do a stalking case, you make the complaint, and then the next day you go to court. And so, or sometimes it's the same day, but usually it's the next day. So anyway, so on the 16th, the case was dismissed, and the comments say petitioner appeared, meaning Ms. showed up, and she gave her explanation to the judge on why she needed a stalking order. And the notes say petitioner appeared, no basis for a protective order, action dismissed. And so that doesn't sound like much to somebody who doesn't read these kind of records all the time, but no basis for a protective order means the judge didn't find anything that Ms. said to be credible evidence of stalking. Typically, the judge might say insufficient evidence of stalking or insufficient evidence for a protective order. But here the judge said no basis for protective order. That was Judge David L. Smedema. I never appeared in front of him, so he must have retired already by the time I started practicing in Oregon, which was 2006. But so basically the way a stalking order works is the person who claims they're being stalked, they file the petition, they go see the judge. And then the judge will, if the judge grants it, the judge will set a hearing for the petitioner and the respondent. But here the judge said, I'm not taking up court time bringing in a respondent. I don't hear any evidence whatsoever that justifies me signing a stalking order. Because a stalking order is a big deal. And if it's found to be, if there's a sufficient basis for it, it can have a pretty significant impact on the person who's accused of being the stalker. So in any event, I don't know if that's helpful for your purposes or not, but that's the explanation of the court records, and I can send you a copy of that if that helps.
fact is, there are genuine instances where people and children need to be protected from other people. Because violence happens and violence is wrong. That's a no-brainer. But there is a pattern of behavior that appears specific to women, where false accusations of abuse and restraining orders are becoming commonplace in custody battles and divorce proceedings. Because if you can't win, just destroy your ex's life. Gee, equality is fun. At first glance, looking into this topic, you will find scores of web pages offering to help fathers and husbands who are currently going through the court system, or who are fighting false restraining orders or false accusations of domestic violence. Using a restraining order to take away children is in fact a tactic employed during custody disputes.
Steve O'Hagan, and sorry I left you a message before, but I got cut off. And my advice to you, my advice would have been in 1998. It's the same thing now. Anybody who tried to get a stalking order against you, it's probably a good idea to steer clear of that person in any way, in every way possible.
You haven't seen your daughter in 8 years, have you?
My advice to you, my advice would have been in 1998. It's the same thing now. Anybody who tried to get a stalking order against you, it's probably a good idea to steer clear of that person in any way, in every way possible.
Okay. Let me ask you this. When's the last time you saw your daughter before this? Before you got this order?
It was October of 1997.
I'm sorry?
October of 1997.
October of 97. Let me see. That's 3 and 6. Is that 9 years?
That's a long time.
And why is that?
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll withdraw the question. All right. You heard, I don't know if you're in the room or not, but Mr. testified that he hadn't seen his child since 1996. Did you know that?
I had thought it was 98. He had seen her once until she was 2.
Still a long time, right?
Correct.
I didn't know Brian for 10 years. She was going to a house that complete stranger.
Probably a good idea to steer clear of that person in any way, in every way possible.
Once again, he's showing us that he really doesn't care about your feelings. He's acting as though he just doesn't love you.
Over the years, have you attempted to establish or maintain a relationship with Tabitha?
In 1999, again, I filed a self-alleged father. The self-alleged father was converted into a traditional, full-blown, just regular case because it was learned that Chantel had been on some assistance.
Brian lists the name Tabitha under his listing in the Mount Hood Community College Alumni Directory in 1999. There is a section under each alumnus where people normally list their children.
And then in Multnomah County, I find a proceeding involving Tabitha that commenced in the year 2000 with an order for blood tests. Is that you?
Yes, that's me.
And is that what you're referring to when you say you started a self-alleged father proceeding?
That, I believe, is the second one.
You testified that you told Tabitha that James was her father?
That's what she was to believe, yes.
Okay. That's not the truth, is it?
No, in every which way.
Then Brian, her father?
In every which way.
Isn't it true that Brian
is her biological father.
Thank you.
But in every which
Okay, well,
way.
just answer his question. You have a lawyer. You're doing the lawyer's job. Provide the information specific to the question.
He has a folder that he has of everything back when I was 17, 18 years old, love letters I wrote him and stuff like that. And he had threatened that on Tabitha's 18th birthday, he was going to wrap it up and give it to her as a birthday present.
After paternity was established in the year 2000, Brian noticed that all of the paperwork arriving in his mailbox from the state of Oregon was branded with the words, "Claim of Risk." You can Google the words, "Claim of Risk State of Oregon" and read about claim of risk. Brian asked the administrators at the State of Oregon Child Support Office about the claim of risk, and he learned that Brian could file one also, so he did. Brian wanted to memorialize the fact that he noticed the frivolous claim of risk and maintain a paper trail.
Well, I think that the problem that Senator Hansen identified, and she's not the first one to say so, but at least she's got a big profile and she can say that, is that the false allegations against men in court is like the silent epidemic.
Yep.
That's what I would describe it. It's a silent epidemic. It's been happening for a long time. It is extremely easy to do. It is risk-free. It's almost cost-free. Just the mere allegation in an affidavit by a woman or the mere filing of a notice of risk will immediately have the effect of alienating the child from the father. Immediately.
Yeah.
Because
you could have the father removed from the home.
Yes, just like that.
Yeah. No evidence.
It happened to me last week with a client.
Yeah.
A guy never been charged with anything, but all of a sudden one allegation by a previous family member, and she's been kicked out of the home and lost contact with the child. We're still trying to find out where the child is. Actually, we don't even know where it is 2 weeks later. But so this is a sudden epidemic, and it's absolutely pertinent that the government, they must realize that a lot of people are suffering, because not just men. We're talking about grandparents. We're talking about friends of these people. We're talking about the whole society.
I mean, I've been having people write to me about this, as you say, not just men, sisters whose brother hasn't seen his children for 5 years.
Exactly.
You know, obviously second wives in that sort of situation. All sorts. Anyone who's involved with men, who loves men, will have had experience of this.
Yes.
That's what really interests me about the decision of this government to push a family court inquiry in this direction. They obviously made a really calculated risk calculation that the community gets it. There are enough people in the community that have seen this happen to men that it really is in their interest to be seen as wanting to properly address it, which is a fascinating thing, because for years and years and years they've been kowtowing to the feminists.
What about this adoption thing? How'd that come about?
Me and my husband have wanted to legally adopt Tabitha. He's wanted to legally adopt Tabitha for a while.
So you had this discussion, and did you get the go-ahead to keep the adoption open and going?
Yeah, in the meeting that he had with me and my husband James, he had said basically he didn't come out and say that he was going to sign the papers, but he had addressed that there were a few things that he wanted to discuss with me, but it looked good in my behalf that he would probably adopt her, let James adopt her, and had made the comment to Jay, because he had made the comment to him, that when she's 18, we would explain to her who he is and if she wanted to find him. And he had at that point said that he didn't want Tabitha to know who he was.
I represent James and Chantel in their petition for step-parent adoption of Tabitha, your biological daughter, born 1996. My understanding is that you would agree to this. It is certainly in Tabitha's best interest, and Tabitha wants her step-father to adopt her. Your cooperation is appreciated. Please sign this consent document in front of a notary and return it to me in the enclosed envelope. I do not discourage you from discussing it with an attorney of your choice. This method is preferable to my setting up a hearing to terminate your parental rights based upon your lack of a parental relationship with Tabitha. Upon this office receiving the enclosed signed consent, Chantel would agree to direct the state of Oregon to cease collection efforts. Upon the final judgment being entered, Chantel would satisfy all past child support. I am required by statute to give you information on the state of Oregon's voluntary adoption registry, enclosed. I am also required to inform you that you have the right to counseling for adoption-related issues at no expense to yourself pursuant, ORS 109.346. Very truly yours, Janet Crift. Enclosures.
He didn't want Tabitha to know who he was.
You broke your promise. You fucking talked to her about it. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I ask you for one thing. One simple thing.
He didn't want Tabitha to know who he was.
So how do we define Munchausen syndrome by proxy? Well, if we look in the DSM, again at factitious disorder, we see a few different criteria. We see that the perpetrator, who is usually a parent or a caregiver to the victim, intentionally induces, falsifies, or over-exaggerates manifestations of physical or mental health symptoms in this other person. Now again, usually this other person is a child. So this disorder is actually a form of child abuse in most of the cases. So we see in the definition here the words physical or mental health symptoms. But I'm not aware of any situation with this disorder. I've never seen a case presentation in the literature or anything where somebody was trying to induce mental health symptoms. It's almost always talked about as physical health symptoms. I've only ever seen it talked about that way. But it is important to remember that it's possible.
The fact of the matter is, you said she never did want to see you, isn't that right? And you'd rather die?
You could see her once again, and my daughter said,
The state of Oregon is branded with the words, claim of risk.
Is that the false allegations against men in court is like a sudden epidemic.
From the state of Oregon is branded with the words, claim of risk.
That's what she.
the times I've talked to Brian was the times I got him to see his daughter. I got him and his father to see Tabitha one time.
It's a sudden epidemic. It's been happening for a long time. It is extremely easy.
No basis for a protective order, action dismissed.
Did you know that?
But there is a pattern of behavior that appears specific to women.
What do you mean? What do you mean you got him? What's that mean? What do you mean you got him? What's that mean?
This method is preferable to my setting up a hearing to terminate your parental rights based upon your lack of a parental relationship with Tabitha.
What do you mean you got him? What's that mean? What do you mean you got him? What's that mean?
And he had threatened that on Tabitha's 18th birthday.
The state of Oregon is branded with the words, claim of risk.
I told my daughter he had the right to see.
The false allegations against men in court is like a sudden epidemic.
You heard, I'm not sure. You heard,
10 years. She was going to a house. That house. Complete straight.
Enclosures. It is certainly in Tabitha's best interest, and Tabitha wants her step-father to adopt her.
He didn't want Tabitha.
Your cooperation is appreciated.
You fucking talk to her about it. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I asked you for one thing.
He didn't want Tabitha to know who he was.
You got it.
Has the child been seeing a counselor?
Yes, she has.
Why?
Because she was, after she found out that James was not her father, she was a little distraught about it, and I had her seek a counselor.
We wanted to discuss the adoption. We talked over, in fact, he called me when I was at work on my city cell phone, and we talked about the adoption. He was leery of it, but he was discussing it if he could have visitation rights to Tabitha, if he could see her once again, and my daughter said no. I mean, I was telling my daughter what he was saying, and I was on the phone after I had done talking to Brian.
All right. Who initiated the adoption? Do you know?
I believe my daughter did.
Okay.
Now, you have a web page or website at myspace.com?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you locate and contact Ms. initially?
Initially, I was just doing a search on high school friends, because that's what you do, and then I said, well, let's see if Chantel has one. And she did, and I saw that it said single, and I was concerned by that, so I wanted to know why.
Why were you concerned that it said single?
Because we were embroiled in a custody case, and in the first place, she wanted her husband to adopt her daughter, so why is she stating she's single if she wanted this to happen?
So the adoption didn't go through, right?
No, it didn't.
Why not?
I honestly, I don't know. I believe that his wife changed his mind about the adoption procedure.
But you don't know.
No, I don't know.
Hey Brian, this is Barbara, Chantel's friend. I just needed to let you know that because of all the stuff that's going on, Chantel lost her baby, and this could come at a worse time for her because of the stress that he caused. She's lost her baby, and I just think you needed to know that. Bye. To replay this message, press 1. To forward.
More questions I forgot to ask. In your testimony in response to a question from Mr. Coulter, you said the context of this was that you Googled Ms. name, saw that she was single, and got concerned because you were embroiled in a custody case.
Yeah.
Who was embroiled in a custody case?
Us against them, me and my husband against her and her husband.
So you and your husband had sought custody of this child?
I apologize. He has sought custody. My name is not on that.
And when did he do that, and how did he do that, to your knowledge?
He went to the court and filed
Is that something other than this emergency custody?
Yes.
So prior to this, he had filed, as far as you think, to get custody of his child?
Yes.
Did you ever threaten father when you made contact here that if he ever gave him visitation that you would disappear?
I didn't ever say it to him. The person that his wife's best friend who talked to me, I was upset at one time, and she kept asking me a bunch of questions, and I may have said something to the point that if he tried to take her away from me, that I would run.
When you filed this ex parte order, for temporary custody,
Yes.
did you prepare all the documents?
Yes, I did.
And you also prepared your statement?
Yes, my wife did help, though, with some of the printing and some of the other activities related to that.
And how you were representing yourself?
Yes.
You did not have a lawyer?
No lawyer.
I'm set for a hearing in the matter of Brian and Chantel, case number DR 06050781. Petitioner is personally present with counsel, Mr. Coulter. Respondent is personally present with counsel, Mr. Christie. We're here regarding a request for a hearing on an ex parte custody order, an emergency custody order that was granted to the father not that long ago. And we're here today to have the hearing regarding whether or not that order should have been issued and what, if any, custody or parenting time issues. Mr. Christie, are you ready to proceed?
We're ready, Your Honor.
And Mr. Coulter, are you ready to proceed?
Ready, Your Honor.
Next witness, Mr. Christie.
We'll call Ms.
If you'd come forward.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd ask that any witnesses be excluded.
Too late, the
from
hearing
court.
started.
Pardon me?
Denied. Too late, the hearing started, denied. You got to do that at the beginning. Raise your right hand and face the clerk.
Under penalty of perjury, do solemnly swear testimony about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes. State your full name, spell your last name for the record.
Chantel Marie. May I see it?
Yes, please. Did you hear the instructions I gave to Mr. at the beginning of his testimony?
Yes.
Did you understand them?
Yes, if I'm asked a question that I don't understand, I have the right to ask them to rephrase it a better way that I can understand it.
Correct. And you cannot solicit information to assist you in answering a question. You have to just answer what you know. If you hear an objection, stop, and I'll rule on it.
Okay.
Mr. Christie.
Ms. You are the mother of Tabitha?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And where do you live?
Currently at, and that's in.
And are you moving in a week?
Yes.
Previous to this place where you're living, well, let's do it this way. How long have you lived where you're living now?
In March would have been 4 years.
Do you know why Mr. has stated that you are continuously moving, or words to that effect?
No, I don't understand, because the place that I lived previously to the Sandy address, we lived in Fairview for 4 years.
Okay.
And he's always known where my parents have lived or how to contact us.
He's never asked you to see the child?
No, he's never asked to see
What about this adoption thing? How'd that come about?
Me and my husband have wanted to legally adopt Tabitha. He's wanted to legally adopt Tabitha for a while, but a previous
Who's
relationship, James.
Okay.
Previous relationships that I had been in before my husband, James, I was with another gentleman named John that Brian had contacted and told him that he wanted to sign his rights over to him when my daughter was at the age of 2.
Okay, but nothing happened until, what, a couple months ago?
Yeah, because we didn't have the money for the adoption procedures.
Did you contact a lawyer?
Yes, we did.
All right, and did you discuss this with Mr.?
Yes, I went through his mom to get contact with him, and she contacted him, which he contacted me.
All right, and did you folks meet?
Yes. The first meeting was with me and my friend Barbara.
And did you have a discussion with the father?
Yes, we did.
And what was the outcome of that discussion?
He had said that he would think about the adoption and that he could see it possibly being done.
Okay. Did he tell you at that time he didn't want his daughter to know he was the father?
No, that was in a later conversation with me and my husband. Okay. That was at a second meeting we had.
Oh, you had a second meeting?
Yes, we had 2 meetings.
For this purpose?
Yes.
Was his wife with him?
Yes, both times, and their children.
All right. So you had this discussion, and did you get the go-ahead to keep the adoption open and going?
Yeah, in the meeting that he had with me and my husband James, he had said basically he didn't come out and say that he was going to sign the papers, but he had addressed that there were a few things that he wanted to discuss with me, but it looked good in my behalf that he would probably adopt her, let James adopt her, and had made the comment to Jay, because he had made the comment to him, that when she's 18, we would explain to her who he is and if she wanted to find him. And he had at that point said that he didn't want Tabitha to know who he was.
Okay. Have you ever denied contact with father?
No, I haven't. He's never addressed himself for me to have any contact with him. I've never known how to find him.
Did you get notice of this before this order was signed, taking the child from
No,
him?
I did not receive anything. If I would have received something, I would have been at court.
So the adoption didn't go through, right?
No, it didn't.
Why not?
I honestly, I don't know. I believe that his wife changed his mind about the adoption procedures.
But you don't know?
No, I don't know.
It just changed. And you had hired a lawyer for that purpose?
Yes, I did.
And who was that lawyer?
You have her name, I believe it's Janet Kreft.
Okay. All right. She drafted papers, actually.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
And sent them to him.
Now, you heard Mr. testimony about MySpace.
Yes.
Were you on MySpace?
Yes, I did have an account on MySpace.
Okay. You bought this, what do they call them, webcam?
Yeah, that was later on I bought the webcam, but yeah, I didn't have it originally.
Why did you do that?
Because I have other friends that I chat with, and I have family members that I have their email addresses, like my aunt and uncle, and I got it for the purpose that you can send pictures on it, I believe, on a webcam, and you can see family members when you're chatting with family members.
And did you tell Mr. you had a webcam on the internet, or his wife?
Yes, I had told the person that they were pretending to be.
Mm-hmm. And they asked you to turn it on?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you turn it on?
Yeah.
Did you know that they were videotaping you on the other end?
No, I did not know I was being videotaped.
They never told you that?
No, they never told me that.
Did you drink alcohol while you're on the internet?
Yes, I did I had a Mike's Hard Lemonade at one time.
Okay. And what does that have, alcohol?
Yeah, that's an alcoholic beverage. But I believed I'm over 21. I thought I could drink.
And did you smoke pot on while you're on camera there?
I showed a bong on webcam and pretended to smoke. There was no marijuana in the bong at all. I have smoked pot in the past, but I do not currently do it.
Okay. What about the allegations of physical abuse from your husband? Has that happened?
No, that has not happened. My husband has never been physical to me.
Okay.
Unless you consider hugging me physical, I mean.
Did you ever threaten father when you made contact here that if he ever gave him visitation that you would disappear?
I didn't ever say it to him. The person that his wife's best friend who talked to me, I was upset at one time, and she kept asking me a bunch of questions, and I may have said something to the point that if he tried to take her away from me that I would run, but I have no reason to run. All my family's here. My husband has a good job.
Who does your husband work for?
My husband works for
Okay. How long?
6.5 years.
Now, somehow contact was made by either Mr. or his wife using a fake name?
Yes, it was Mr. I don't know who exactly. I believe it was Mr. and his wife, and they had another friend pretending to be a female that had actually started me talking with this Stephen person, explaining to me that she was a single mother and that she had met Stephen and that Stephen would be a good catch for me.
Did they start suggesting, making sexual suggestions?
We all pretty much did. It was a lot of talk going back and forth. 90% of the reason why I get on the internet when I did was for entertainment purposes. We would get on the internet and talk with several people. 90% of the time that they believed that they were speaking to me, it wasn't always me. It was my friend Barbara who lives with me that would get on the internet and talk to them too.
All right. And this is in the evenings you do this?
Yeah, sometimes in the afternoon when the kids are at school, but every once in a while I get on the internet, yeah.
In the evening when you do get on the internet, where is your daughter?
In bed sleeping usually. Or she's upstairs in her room playing.
Did you ever show her a picture on...
I had pictures of my children on my MySpace account. Because everybody who have, well, not everybody, but a lot of people who have MySpace accounts have pictures of like their family and stuff like that on there.
Barbara lives with you?
Yes.
How long?
A little over 2 years.
Does she have children?
Yes, she has an 11-year-old daughter.
Does the daughter sleep with you?
Not with me, with her mom. Her and her mom share a room.
I meant in her house, in your house.
Yes.
Okay. So, what about your address over the internet? What happened there? Did they ask for your address?
Yeah, because at one time he wanted to know where Sandy was, and another time there was conversation where we wanted to go out. All of us wanted to go out and do something. The Stephen person and the other person, I believe she went by Alicia. And there was another time that he had invited supposedly Alicia and her daughter and had invited me and my family to go to a Halloween party that his work was throwing.
Okay.
I believed Stephen to be a friend. I mean, yeah, we may have had, I guess, what they would classify as cyber sex, talking, just typing stuff on the internet. But that was basically...
So, to find you on the internet, is it an accident? How did they find you?
I have no idea. They must have went through MySpace accounts and found my profile.
And your profile was what?
My profile has a picture of me, and it says my name, my age, my birth date.
Your full name?
No, I believe it just says Chantel.
Okay. And it gives your physical characteristics?
To a point, yeah.
And it shows your face and the
Yeah.
whole thing?
I'm not 100% sure about the whole MySpace thing. I opened my account, and I had to have friends help me to basically set it up because I'm not 100% computer literate.
Okay. So I guess what you're saying is anybody who's surfing the net, as they call it, through MySpace or whatever, can accidentally come upon your name.
As long as they have a MySpace account, I believe.
Okay. And is that your opinion? That's how they found you?
Yeah.
And then did the messages come regularly from, what name did they use?
Stephen Lyons. Yeah.
Daily?
If not daily, at least every other day.
Okay. And you found out none of the things that they represented were true?
Nope.
That's what you found out?
Yeah. Stephen had told me that he was divorced, going through a divorce, and had children or had a stepson, sent me pictures of his ex-wife and a supposed stepchild. This other person who pretended to be Alicia or Allison, I can't remember the name, had sent me pictures of herself and her daughter supposedly.
And none of that was true?
None of that was true.
Now, your child, she in school?
I believe she's currently enrolled in school there.
No, I mean when you had her.
Oh, yes, she's enrolled in school.
And where did she go to school?
Kelso?
Kelso in Sandy?
No, it's actually in Boring.
Okay. Kelso
It's an out-of-district school. I had her go there because there was a lot of problems with, I was receiving phone calls from the school and the Oregon Trail School District that they were receiving phone calls from Mr. wife, Christy, demanding information about what school my daughter Tabitha was going to. Well, Tabitha Emerson, sorry. What school she was enrolled in, and demanding that they give her information on the whereabouts, what school she went to, trying to get her address. So I was contacted and went to the Oregon.
By the school?
Yes. Actually, we found out about it when my husband went to enroll my son into Sandy. And they said it would be the best interest not to enroll her in Sandy because that was the school that she was giving the most trouble to, trying to find out if my daughter was enrolled there.
Did they ever give the information?
No, they did not give her any information.
And it was suggested that she moved to this other school?
Yes. She had already attended Kelso, but there was, because it was an out-of-district school, there was no problems. They had only called Kelso once compared to calling Sandy grade school several times.
Do you know why they were demanding this information?
I have no idea. I was in fear that they were going to try to show up and try to kidnap my daughter.
Okay, and is she doing well in school?
Yeah, up until recently that she found out that James is not her dad, her biological father, that kind of shook her up a little bit. But otherwise, she's a good student. She's a very well-behaved, well-mannered child.
Okay.
She makes friends easily. She has lots of friends.
And does she have a room in the house?
Yes, she does.
And how are her grades in school?
They don't really give letter grades yet, so I believe if it was considered letter grades, she'd be probably an A/B student, maybe a few C's, but otherwise, she does really good with her reading. She loves to read. She has hundreds of books. Math, she's pretty good at math. She has a little bit of problems, but most kids, you know.
Do you help her with her homework?
Yes, I help her with her homework. Her father James helps her with her homework, and so does Barbara. We all work as a team helping the children with their homework.
You cook her meals?
Yes, I do.
Has the child been seeing a counselor?
Yes, she has.
Why?
Because after she found out that James was not her father, she was a little distraught about it, and I had her seek a counselor because I was in fear. Well, the reason why we told her that James wasn't her father at that point is because Brian had made threats that he was going to tell Tabitha that James was not her biological father, that James was not her father.
Why? Do you know why he was going to do that? Did he say?
I'm not sure exactly. He has a folder that he has of everything back when I was 17, 18 years old, love letters I wrote him and stuff like that. And he had threatened that on Tabitha's 18th birthday he was going to wrap it up and give it to her as a birthday present.
Do you know why Mr. has never demanded a relationship with his daughter?
Honestly, I don't know. I felt because of prior things that he didn't want anything to do with her.
What prior?
I believe.
Objection, Your Honor.
Well,
Just a moment.
Relevance.
Grounds of the objection.
Relevance.
Mr. Christie.
We'll withdraw.
Okay.
I don't have any more questions.
Mr. Coulter, do you have questions of this witness?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Your Honor. Let's see, Ms. Do you go by Ms.?
I usually go by Miss, but
Okay.
my name is still legally.
Okay, Ms. You testified that you might be moving soon.
Yes.
Where do you plan to move to?
Am I to give him my address? I'm not sure the exact address.
What city, what state?
It's in Sandy, Oregon.
Okay. When do you plan on moving?
The 1st of November.
Um,
And my lawyer has a copy of the rental agreement and all that too to prove that I am moving.
so you had an account or a web page at myspace.com?
Yes, I did.
And let's see, when did you first establish that account?
Honestly, I don't remember the exact date.
Approximate time? Year ago?
No, months ago.
You said that when you were smoking pot online, or what Mr. perceived to you be smoking pot online, you're saying that you just pretended to be smoking
Yeah,
pot?
I showed a bong
Yeah.
because he asked to see what a bong looked like, and there was nothing in there. I hadn't had any marijuana for a period of time, and
Did you light the pipe, the bong pipe? Did you put?
I believe I may have lit the lighter and made it look like I was doing something, but there was nothing in it. There was ice in there to make it look like there was something in there.
Ice. Okay, like ice cubes.
Like ice cubes to make it look like a fat.
Not dry ice that
No.
would emit a visible substance or something, a gas. So if we looked at a videotape of the event, I don't know if you've had a chance to review the
Yes, I have seen
videotape. It wouldn't show any smoke coming out of your mouth or...
The only thing you would see is if you see smoke, it would be from the ice because there's water in the bottom of the bong, and when you smoke it up through the ice, it makes your breath cold.
So if anything appeared to be coming out of your mouth, it wasn't smoke, but something that the ice
Basically
is
air.
generating?
Yeah.
I believe you said that you're on the internet 90% of the time for entertainment.
Mhm.
What's the other 10%?
I get on there to check my emails, or to check my bank account, or to I get emails from my daughter's school.
You testify that your daughter's in bed when you're on the internet?
A majority of the time, yes.
Okay. But so there's other times when when Tabitha is there present with you when you're on the internet?
No, there was one episode where she had walked by to go to the bathroom, and I was on the internet supposedly with Stephen Lyons, and I was playing a game of tic-tac-toe with him, and the webcam was on, and she had walked by and asked if she could play a game of tic-tac-toe with him, which I didn't see any reason to object. I figured it was a friendly game of tic-tac-toe.
Have pictures of you appeared on any other website, to your knowledge?
I believe I opened a website called, somebody sent me an email about it, and I opened it to see what it was, and to look at the internet site, I had to open a profile. It was called Online Booty Call, which basically was a joke. I put a profile on there, and then I did delete the profile.
So the answer to my question is about whether your pictures appeared anywhere else on any other...
My one picture, there may have been a picture or two on that site, yes. But I didn't even know what it was.
And the purpose, you said, for registering or having your pictures on this other website that's not myspace.com, you said the purpose was just for fun?
Yeah, it was just a joke. My girlfriend Barbara did one too. We get on there, and chat with people and just goof around.
Did you indicate at the MySpace webpage that you were single?
I may have marked down single the first time, but then I changed it, and the status is married. And I had told, everybody knows that I'm married. I had told the Stephen Lyons that I was married too. And I falsified and said that we were having problems to continue the conversation with him.
Why'd you do that?
Because
why did you want to falsify something?
Because I figured that
Whoa. Mr. Coulter, you may finish your question, and
Yeah.
do not answer until it's done, because you could give the wrong answer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, why would you lie to continue a conversation on the internet?
Because I don't have a lot of friends, and I get on there, and I felt that he would continue the conversation more with me, thinking that I was in a bad relationship than in a happy marriage.
Well, didn't you indicate at the MySpace page that you were single and that you were exploring, looking for people?
I believe I said on there I was looking for friends.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever direct this Steve Lyons character that you chatted with online to any other websites beyond the MySpace page?
I believe I sent him an email for the online booty call because there was some contest going on to win a car. The more people you could get to sign up under your name.
And what's this online booty call website all about?
Mr. Christie, any questions you want to ask?
Previous to the this order, did the police come to your home?
Yes.
When?
Friday the 13th, I believe it was.
Of October? October?
Yeah.
And why did they come?
Because Mr. had called the police making...
How do you know Mr. called?
I was informed by the police officer
Objection,
that...
hearsay.
Overruled. You can answer the question. I don't believe it's being offered for the truth of what the officer said, but rather for why she did what she did.
The officer told me that Mr. had called them and made a complaint that I was using illegal drugs and soliciting myself as, I guess, soliciting myself prostitution-wise or something like that over the internet. And I invited the police officer in and told him he could check my house. And he had informed me that the people were talking to me on the internet, falsifying themselves to me as pretend somebody else.
I'm handing you what's been marked as Petitioner's Exhibit Number 1. Can you please describe to the court what that 4-page exhibit is?
Photographs,
Okay. And pictures?
pictures.
And are these pictures that you received or printed or obtained?
Yes.
Can you tell the court from whom, in this case, that you received these pictures?
These are correspondence from the respondent,
And the respondent whose name is?
Chantel.
Okay. The mother of Tabitha?
Correct.
Okay. And you received these via, and how did you receive these?
Email.
Okay, via the internet?
Uh-huh. And webcam.
Okay. And I hand you what's been marked as Petitioner's Exhibit Number 2. Can you please identify what that is to the court?
Correspondence from the respondent
Okay.
via email.
Okay, and that's from the mother of Tabitha?
Yes.
And this was this message that was sent to you?
Yes.
Okay. And that's a 2-page exhibit. Can you describe what the first page is? The email message?
First page is the email message.
And then what's the second page?
It's the basic text of the email message.
Okay, so it just repeat basically what is on the first page?
Yes.
Okay. And these were what you received via the internet?
Yes.
I'd offer these into evidence, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Christie?
I'd like to ask a couple of questions, if I may.
Certainly.
Exhibit number 2, how do you know from whom that came?
The email message is from...
I'm sorry?
The email message, sassy@aol.com, is her email address.
How do you know that?
She had told me.
She told you?
Yes.
she told you, or she told the person you were impersonating?
The person I was impersonating.
And this is printed off of the internet?
Yes.
And so is Exhibit A? I mean, Exhibit 1, excuse me.
Yes.
And did you print these?
My husband did.
Pardon?
My husband did.
Were you there when they were printed?
No.
Were there other pictures that were not printed?
No.
How do you know?
My husband took the entire file to Kinko's and revealed what he had printed out to me.
Did you see these pictures and Exhibit 2 on the internet before they were printed?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Mr. Coulter, anything further?
No, Your Honor, just request that they be admitted in the evidence.
Any objection, Mr.
No,
Christie?
Your
You see.
I'd like to review both these exhibits with you. First on Petitioner's Exhibit Number 1. Can you describe in more detail what's on the first page?
No, she doesn't need to.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in evidence. It speaks for itself.
Okay. Well,
I
there's-
have eyes and I'm capable. So I don't want her reading from it. I don't want her describing what's in it. The exhibit's in. Everything else is cumulative. Move on.
Did you request these pictures of her?
Yes.
From the respondent?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And she sent them to you?
Yes.
On Petitioner's Exhibit Number 2. Actually, pardon me. Let's look back at Petitioner's Exhibit Number 1, the 4-page exhibit. What are the images that are on page 2 and page 3?
Excuse me, which exhibit are you referring to?
It's Petitioner's Exhibit Number 1, Your Honor, the
Uh-huh.
4-page exhibit.
I believe since the exhibit is in evidence, it speaks for herself, and what she thinks it is irrelevant to me. It's what it is, and I'll draw my own conclusion. Thank you. Mr. Christie, any questions?
Yes. As you testified you had 2 children?
Yes.
That's not true, is it?
You said, how many children do I have with him?
How many children do you have?
I have 5 children
Where are the other 3?
with their dad.
Relevance, Your Honor?
I don't know yet. It could go to bias. He's attempting to say she was not truthful. He may inquire. Obviously, her veracity has a lot to do with this.
Why are they with your dad, their dad?
That is probably not relevant.
And Stephen is that character you made up?
Yes.
And why, it was you that requested pictures, correct?
Yes.
Posing as Steve?
Yes.
Why?
Because I asked her if I could get to know her better.
Why?
To see if she would actually do it.
Because why?
To see if she would actually send pictures.
Why?
I can't answer that.
Were you folks trying to trap her? Is that what you're trying to do?